Hey, welcome back to Dad Space. It's Dave. Glad to be with you. Thanks for being here. Thank you for pressing play. A lot's going on in the world, and our kids have unfettered access to in the moment, in the second view into the world and what's happening around the world. And the world's a scary place to begin with. But oh, for the days. I don't know. Back in the day when I was young, we didn't have the access we have now. And things were tough then. Now imagine the access your kids have with that phone in their pocket to what's happening in the news and around the world. How do we help our kids to filter through their access to some pretty horrific events? What do we do as dads to protect our kids? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? That's what I'm going to talk about on Dad Space. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being part of the conversation. I'm just wondering, as dads, how do we address these horrific events that are happening in the news as a dad with our kids? Now, I know all of our kids are different ages. My kids are all empty nest households here. Kids are out of the house. They're on their own. They're adults now. But they're still kids, right? We have teenagers. We have small children. How do we deal with these horrific events that find their way into our world? Especially with the flood of real-time and sometimes extremely graphic information online. I just think this requires a real honest, age-appropriate conversation with our kids about what's going on in the media and giving some parental guidance to what our kids should be involved in, what they should be watching and viewing, and what they should not be. It's super hard to control what's happening on your kid's phone and what they see and through their phone or their friends' phones. We can't be everywhere. We can't do it all, but we need to be aware that our kids are dealing with things that other kids in the past would never have to deal with. And I'm just nervous as a parent that we're creating an atmosphere where our kids are going to be wrestling with some pretty rough stuff as adults when they grew up in a culture where they can see in real time war, death, car accidents, crime, hatred. They see a lot of things on their phone from around the world. How do we as parents create any safe harbor for our kids when there's so much evil happening in the world? There's so much trouble. There's so much bad things, unrest happening around the world. What do we do? How do we guide our kids through these traumatic news events? We got a few things I'm thinking about that I wanted to chat with you about, and just some things to put in front of you, maybe to have a conversation with your kids, with your partner, with another dad, and see what everyone else is doing in their homes, and maybe come up with a plan. Because if you don't have a plan, I'm sure your kids are hungry for your guidance in this part of what they see and what comes through their phone into their world. It's worth talking about. So the first part is to encourage you to start with an honest, age-appropriate conversation about the flood of bad things, news, events, disturbing videos and images that come through to our family, and how are we going to navigate this? I think our kids are really looking for us as dads to be truthful about the events that are happening, to not address them, like ignore them like they never happened, but to share the details with your kids that can help them process what they're seeing and hearing directly or indirectly in a way that's specific to where they are as kids and their age range. If you're unsure how to answer, then admit that you don't have an answer, and then offer to your kids that you're going to learn together. I think your kids need to know your opinions on things. You are their first adult interaction. Your kids will go off to school and be taught by teachers and influenced by other adults, but you are the very first adult in their life. You have a special place, and I don't think we should be surrendering that special designation of being their very first adult to someone else and give away the responsibility of the schools to take care of it, or your church, or your whatever, to be your voice to your kids. Those are all great resources to come around you and support you as a parent, but we shouldn't be giving the first point of reference to news, TV, influencers, the internet, TikTok. We shouldn't be giving away that to our kids and giving that responsibility, that parental responsibility, to someone else for them to do it on your behalf. These are your kids, and they are looking for you to step up and give your thoughts, your opinions, your view. Whether or not they accept what you believe is a different thing. But to be silent in a world of a lot of screaming and yelling and violence and nastiness, for your silence to be your only response, I think you're missing an opportunity. Let's start with an honest, age-appropriate conversation about what's going on. And this goes also to when should our kids have access to all of this? What age is a phone a good idea? I've been listening, and we'll do more episodes on this in the future, but I've been listening to other podcasts that talk to parents about technology and phones. One parent said that they collect all the phones at night, and all the phones are charged in the parents' bedroom. So the kids don't take the phones to bed with them. As a parent, now looking back at my kids, yeah, that would have been a good idea. And my wife and I didn't do that. And the kids would be in their room on their phone. We had no idea what they were looking at, what they were in, who they were talking to. And that's actually really frightening when I think back how unfettered or unsupervised our kids were on their phones online, and who they had access to and what they were participating in. So having the kids' phones in your room charging at night so they go to bed without their phone, I love that idea. And for the kids to not have a phone until somebody was saying 16, 14, 15, all your kids are different, right? So it needs to be at a time when it's appropriate. Understand that phone can be the greatest thing and the worst thing at the same time for your kids. And you, just like those mattresses that come to your house in a box, and you open that box and the mattress springs out of the box, you can't put that mattress back in that box if you don't like it. There's no way you can get that mattress back into that box. Once it's out, it's out. Once your kids have a phone and they have access to the world, it's out. And the longer you can delay it, the better, would be my suggestion as an empty nest dad. I really wish there was a dad who told me, delay it as long as possible. Don't be too quick to go grab your kids a phone and use it as a digital babysitter. Your kids will survive without one. And for anybody who grew up without a phone like me back in the day, there wasn't even an option for a phone. And we survived. So I know it's a digital world. I know all your kids' friends have phones, but it doesn't mean you have to bend a knee to what's happening around the lives of your kids. So you have control over this. You're the one paying for this phone. So be slow to act in getting that phone into their hands, and build into your kids, because even if they don't have a phone, they have friends, they have knowledge, they have a conversation that's brewing around recent events, And your silence is not helping. So start with honest, age-appropriate conversations in your home about what's happening in the news. And it can't be something where you just talk to your kids once a year. It needs to be many conversations, not just one. Instead of having one conversation for 100 minutes, have 100 conversations that are 1 minute in length. This is where frequency is more important than the length of the conversation. Be frequently in your kids' lives, talking about what things are happening in an age-appropriate way. The next one is to limit direct exposure to disturbing content. Again, like the mattress. The moment you take the mattress out of the box that's shipped to your house, you can't put it back in there. We somehow need to have some kind of parameters around limiting direct exposure to disturbing content with our kids. Where phone use is done in public, so in the family room, living room, where other people are, not off on their own, in their own bedroom with the door shut. It's done in front of others. It's not done in private. We need to monitor screen and social media time closely. Turn off the background news in our home with video clips playing over and over on repeat while we're talking about our day. We need to control the environment. We need to control what is coming into our home and what's on the screens with our kids when they're around. You might not even be thinking of it, but what's happening in the background at the restaurant, up on the wall, what's happening in the world, it's all making its way back to us. So monitor that screen time and proactively block access to graphic images and video. There's unfiltered video of recent events out there in the world for you to find. It's horrifying. And if that's what our kids watch on repeat, what is that doing to them? What is it doing to their developing brain? Can we hide them from everything? No. They know more than you think. They know more than you know. But we should be a safe place in our home for our kids to escape what's happening in public, on their friends' phones, at their friends' houses. We can't control that. But this is our house, and this is how we do things. We need our home to be that safe harbor for our kids. And we need to listen and to validate what they're feeling in real time, giving them a chance to express how they are processing what's happening in the world right now. We can't be oblivious as parents, where we just trip through life, sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, and everything's great, while the world is falling apart around our families, in our communities. We can't just ignore horrific events and pretend they're not happening. Your kids are looking at you like, what is wrong with you? Like, everyone in my circle is talking about this, but I come home, it's completely like I've stepped onto a different planet. There's a difference between being a safe place and being oblivious to what's happening in the world. We need to listen to our kids and validate what they're feeling in the moment as they come across news, as they have access to everything in the world at all times and all places. We need to be the one to listen to them and let them process from their perspective what they're feeling in real time. And ask your kids, ask what they've seen, ask what they've heard, ask what they're feeling. And let them talk and express their worry, their sadness, their anger, their confusion, their frustration. And we need to help normalize their emotions and assure them that it's okay for them to feel upset and to ask really hard questions. It's okay to do that. They need to understand when they see somebody they admire that has now lost their life. And they see them. We just had a recent family member pass away. Our kids seeing the person and understanding that death is something that's real. Like it's not TV. It's not action movies and people are on TV and it looks so fake. It's real life. This is a real thing. And your kids are going to be questioning everything. And for you as a dad to just pass over it like it's nothing and not even open the door to communicate this, we gotta be the ones to start. We gotta be ones to start the conversation and listen to our kids. If you haven't done it, do it tonight. Around the table, shut the phones off, something, but create an opportunity where the kids feel safe enough to come to you and ask some pretty deep questions. And don't be afraid if you don't have the answer. Tell them. But at least they have somebody they can trust. It needs to start in your home. We need to provide reassurance to our kids that they're safe. We need to emphasize what is being done to keep everyone safe within our home and how our community helps to support those that are affected by what's happening. Think of a tornado, for example, and people losing everything. That is traumatic. To know that your house is gone and everything you love is gone. And people have passed away in your community because of something out of our control. How do you deal with that? I've been in 2 different tornadoes. And I got to tell you, you realize how small you are when this event happens because you have zero control and you don't even know where to go. You don't know how to even protect yourself in that moment. And your kids are wrestling with their version of whatever a tornado is for them in the moment, and they don't know where to run. They don't know where to hide. They don't know what's safe. We have to be the ones to protect our kids and give them the reassurance that in this home and with me, you're safe to the best of our ability. Help maintain familiar routines, meals, bedtimes. All of these things help to give you back some sense of normality in a world that's just spinning out of control. Your kids need something to land on, going, I'm safe, I'm seen, I'm heard. And we need to provide that as parents. And then also make sure that you're helping to correct misinformation and offer context to what's happening and what's coming to your kids in real time. You need to be the source of truth, which means you need to understand what's happening. We need to ask our kids what they've heard from their peers, from social media. Things happen in real time, and when things happen in real times, things get really reported incorrectly. People are accused of things and they weren't even a part of it. People are attacked. People are maligned. People lose their jobs and they had nothing to do with what happened. And there's a very reactive culture around news and events. People jump to conclusions. People make predictions. And sometimes they turn out to be completely false, damaging and ruining people and creating a lot of hate for no reason. And then people start acting on their fears and their hatred and frustration, taking it out on innocent people who got caught up in something that happened and they weren't even a part of it. We need to help correct this misinformation that our kids are being fed. When things happen in real time, people make real mistakes. News is made incorrect. And people come back and they'll come back and say, oh, we got that wrong. It was this person, not that person. But the damage has already been done. Ask what they've heard from their peers, social media. Clarify and fix the rumors and correct any false ideas that your kids are picking up on. And put events into context. Focus on the stories of resilience and positive community and what's come about because of what happened. It's really hard to come up with some positive things with what's happening right now in the world. But your kids are looking to you to say, like, how do I even process this? And by you letting them wander off to their bedroom and shut the door, and not giving them that safety in your home, I think you're missing an opportunity. And I think your kids need you in this moment more than ever to be that strong adult, their first adult, their first point of reference of someone they can trust and go to. I think we're missing an opportunity to be that for our kids. And I think the other thing in all of this that we can really lean into is to help our kids by promoting critical thinking. And the one thing that we're lacking the most right now, empathy. If your kids are older, like early teens, teenagers, young adults, encourage your older kids to reflect on why certain stories go viral and discuss the purpose behind social media and media coverage. What does it do to help? What does it do to hinder? What's missing? And highlight some opportunities for kindness, compassion, and community support. Even little small acts that can be taken when the news is bad, especially if it's within your own community. Highlight some of the positive things, even though it's hard to come up with. Highlight the things that where the community came together. I think as we ingest some of the most horrific things in the world, in the moment, in real time, it's actually goes beyond your kids. It goes back to you. How are you as a dad? How are you processing this? You're seeing things on your phone that people see in war. You're seeing things in real time that people come home from war and have a really hard time processing the normality and kind of figuring out how they're going to take what they saw somewhere else and bring that and come back and be a different person when they come home. You're seeing things on your phone as an adult that are shaping your thoughts, shaping your view of the world, and really having a dramatic impact on you. So how are you as a dad, as a parent? How's your partner? How are they dealing with all of this? Have you even talked to them? It goes beyond your kids. How's your friend who's been struggling with their own mental health in a world where things are just getting darker? When's the last time you reached out to them? As dads, we're not just an example in our home, we're an example in our community. And we're an example to ourselves as we process these things as dads on a personal level. So my question for you is, how are you in all of this? And if you're feeling like you need to talk to somebody, then you need to talk to someone. Your partner is not your therapist. Okay, they can give you love and support. Your kids aren't your therapist. This podcast isn't my therapist. There's professionals for a reason. And they're in your community. They're available to you. A quick internet search is going to bring you up some amazing people to talk to. And I would encourage you to go there first. Because the people who love you, they can't always fix you. And I don't even know if it's possible to be fixed when we live in a world that gives us this much information this quickly in real time. It's almost unbearable to try to go through this and process it all. So reach out to a professional before you ask anything of your family to help you. Reach out to the people who can actually help you, because that's their training and they have better tools than anyone else who has not been trained to do this. So reach out to the professionals first. And don't forget to reach out to the people around you that you know that need somebody in this moment. It could just being you in the room just is enough for them. The fact that you're there. The fact that when the phone rings, you answer it. That's all they need. Be that for your kids. Be that for your partner. Be that for yourself and for your friend. There's somebody you're thinking about while we talk about this who's really struggling. I would love for you, as a call to action, which you get at the end of a podcast normally, to call them. Like, actually call them with your voice and talk to them. Not just a text. Not just an email or a DM. No. Your voice. Call them and talk to them and let them know that you're there. And as your kids struggle under the immense weight of what they have access to in real time, check in with your kids often and be aware of what's going on in the world without letting it get to your heart and destroy you from the inside. Be strong, be supportive, give your kids the safety of a safe harbor under your roof. And know that your kids are dealing with a lot more than you ever have. And they have access to things you never had when you were growing up. So you don't know what it's like to be your kids. Give them a safe place. Put some limits on their interaction. Keep the phones out of their bedroom at night. All of these things are great suggestions. But the biggest thing is you in the room with your kids, and they see you, and they know you're a safe person to be around. So be that for your kids. How do dads help their kids cope with disturbing events online? By being a safe person and a safe place to hide when those tornadoes are all around them. They need somewhere to go, and it should be you. And when you need it, you need to find that person who makes you safe. Don't forget to do that. Be kind to each other. And when you find somebody that disagrees with you, instead of being frustrated with them, be kind. Give them space. Listen. And allow them to share their thoughts even if you don't agree. Because in doing that, that's the public town square that we all need right now. Because even if you and I don't agree with each other, at least we can honor the fact that we're both humans on a path, and nobody has come to a final version and the best version of themselves. We all have room to grow, and we all have ways that we can learn and develop over time. My opinion might be different 6 months from now, 2 years from now, because I learn new things. So don't judge me for where I am right now, but encourage me and encourage each other to keep growing and keep learning and keep interacting with people we agree with and those we don't, because that makes us better people. Thanks for being here. Be safe. Thanks for being who you are for your family. Keep showing up. Talk soon. Hey, thanks for listening to Dad Space. Thanks for hanging out to the end of the podcast. That's a great sign to wherever you're listening to this podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, fill in the blank, that this was a good podcast to send people to. So simply by listening to this point of the podcast, you're helping the show grow. So good on you. Thanks for helping us grow Dad Space. If you want to help us fill our cups over at Dad Space, head over to dadspace.ca. Dadspace.ca, simple website, right? Dadspace.ca. You can fill up our coffee cup, which helps us then to keep moving forward with the podcast, and use our Buy Me a Coffee link over at dadspace.ca. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for coming back. And thank you for sharing. Because the more dads we can help, the better. We're all here to help each other grow in community. That's what it's all about. And without you, podcast is pointless. There's no reason to do any of this. So you being here means everything. See you at dadspace.ca. Take care.